Welcome to Nava Podcast with Leah Cardenas and Stella Pashos.
Let's explore the true essence of Nava.
Nava embodies the concept of beauty in all its forms. It represents the inner radiance that each woman possesses and the unique qualities that make her truly remarkable.
Our mission is to share the stories of inspiring women who are making their mark in the areas of fashion, health, lifestyle, and family. Our aim is to curate meaningful conversations where the journeys and experiences of our guests can inspire you in your own life.
We started this podcast to create a space where everyone can feel beautiful, inspired, and empowered.
Nava is not just a podcast, it's a celebration of the incredible women who have shaped our lives and the countless others who are yet to share their stories.
We can't wait for you to join us. Join us for an insightful conversation with Deanna Depetro, one of the visionaries behind Mossman, a trailblazing fashion brand that's redefining style. We talk about the amazing achievement of reaching 10 years and the exciting projects on the horizon for Mossman. Deanna discusses health, fashion, family, and lifestyle, and how she has found her balance. We discuss Mossman's unique style in the fashion industry and what it's like to be the creative director of an international brand.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Nava. I am Stella. As always, I'm here with Leah.
Hello, everyone.
And today we have the beautiful Deanna Depetro joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be on your podcast today.
And thank you for taking the time. I know you've done this a few times before, so we're hoping to give the listeners a little bit of an insight into your personal life as well as obviously being the visionary behind Mossman. The way we like to start all our episodes is for our listeners to get to know you just really quickly with a fun 90 seconds with Deanna. So Leah, kick us off.
All right. Which city do you live in?
I live in Kew in Melbourne.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Taylor's Lakes, also in Melbourne.
Coffee order?
I don't drink coffee. I'm a peppermint tea girl.
Ooh.
Even in the morning?
Even in the morning, I hate coffee, hate the taste, don't like the way it makes me feel. I'm naturally very energized anyway, so I don't need any more energy.
I need to channel that.
I was going to say, do you come from an Italian background?
I do.
What? This is me like on the sidelines judging you. You're European.
No, I
not
know.
liking coffee.
I know. But it's like with some people that don't put like grated cheese on their pasta. It's just
That's
like,
true.
but you're Italian. Like that's crazy. Like that just is nuts for me. Like how can you not? So I guess the same applies to coffee. It's crazy. I know.
And just confirming, you do grate cheese on your pasta.
Absolutely.
All
Even
right, cool.
seafood pasta, even though that's a sin, but I love it.
My favorite question. If you were a flavor of ice cream, what would you be?
Hazelnut.
Why?
Oh, I just love it. Like I'm the goat. Like I can't do any other flavor than hazelnut. I'm a creature of habit.
Do you have a fun childhood memory that always makes you smile?
Yes, I do. I guess growing up like in a small family, like having two siblings, having next door neighbors where they had like 7 siblings and just being amongst chaos with lots of other kids and playing sports and getting dirty and playing cricket on the street and things like that. That was always a fun time.
Oh, that's lovely. What's one word to describe yourself?
I'm thoughtful.
Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Can you speak another language?
Sort of. I can speak Italian. I can get by when I'm in Italy. Like it all just comes back to me, but I don't speak it in like every day in Melbourne because I don't really have anyone to talk to in Italian.
Yeah. I feel like this is a silly question because I feel like I'll know the answer. Heels, flats, or sneakers?
Heels.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Pasta.
And I'll say favorite movie.
Dirty Dancing.
Beautiful. That was fun.
Deanna's obviously one half of the Mossman duo and the visionaries behind the beautiful brand that's redefining style So we're going to take a moment to delve into the fashion world with you and all things Deanna Depetro.
So where shall I start? Basically, so there's myself and my business partner Ben. We've had Mossman now for 10 years. So this year has been our 10-year anniversary, which is super exciting because the brand has just evolved so much over the last 10 years. We have so many exciting things in the pipeline for 2024, which we can discuss later on in our conversation. But basically, yeah, Ben and I, we used to work for the brand before we took over, and we just instantly connected and got along really well, and we're a really good balance to each other. Like, I'm super creative and Ben's all about numbers, which I hate maths, so it works really, really well. So it's a really nice, harmonious kind of relationship that we both have. We've got a team of 20 at our head office, and we've got from our design team, we've got social media marketing, we've got production, we've got e-commerce, we've got customer service, we've got wholesale, and then we've also got our warehouse team as well. And our warehouse and office are all on the one premises.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of people to manage and lots of different facets of the business. How many areas do you feel like you are actively involved in?
I'm actively involved in all areas of the business. Being a control freak, it happens by default. Even though like my main role is creative director and working with the design team, but I also like to be across all elements of the business and I like to know what's going on. Even though Ben kind of like manages that side, I'm still like across like what's happening with socials, what's happening in marketing, what's happening in production. I'm still like across everything, which it's a lot of work and it's challenging at times because there's only one of you. But I just, being a control freak, I just like to know that the whole business is just running smoothly, and not only that, we have a lot of trust and faith in all of our team members here, and they do an amazing job, each and every one of them in their own roles. And they're so skilled that we don't have to micromanage. So that's another, advantage of having a smaller team, but an amazing team at the same time.
We started unpacking a little bit about where Mossman is at the moment. We've reached 10 years. You have an amazing team that you work with. And I think that's a testament to your character being involved in all the facets of the business and not being a micromanager, but empowering your team. I think that's fantastic. I'd like to know a little bit more about you and who you are outside of Mossman.
Well, I love to go to the gym. For me, like, I'm a morning person. My alarm goes off at 5:30 a.m. I love to work out. For me, it just sets your day off. It doesn't matter, like, if you're having a shitty day. I just feel like you can take on the world once you have a gym session. I love the footy. I'm a mad Geelong supporter, which a lot of people just don't believe that I love the footy, but I actually secretly love the footy. So during the winter, like spending time like just watching the footy or going to the footy, I absolutely love. I love hanging out with my nieces and nephews. I'm a very family orientated person. We're a very close knit family. So in my downtime, I like to spend as much time as I can with them. I'm the eldest of three. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. And obviously my sister's also involved in my business as well, which is a tremendous help. I am a little bit not crazy. I'm like full of energy. I love life. I love to travel. But I also like my downtime. I love to chill. Like on the weekends, I love to catch up with my friends or have like a really nice dinner. Sometimes I can be a little bit of a homebody just because like Monday to Friday my life is so hectic. And then amongst like you add travel into that with China and then, holidays of like Europe and whatnot. It gets like a lot. So sometimes it's just really nice to just have a Saturday night at home, cook a plate of pasta and just chill. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
I feel like just from your Instagram, you are a bit of a gym junkie. Has that always been the case? Have you always kind of leaned into that health side?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Like I eat and breathe. Like if I don't train, I get guilty. Like I'm like, sometimes my body is just so sore, but mentally, like my brain can keep going. And I've learned as I've gotten older, that you just need to listen to your body and have that rest day. And, like my personal trainer say the same thing. Like if I could, I would just like push through. But then sometimes I've had injuries in the past from like running too much or overdoing it. And as I get older, my body just doesn't recover the way that it used to when I was, 20 years old. So now it's all about, doing Pilates and things like that help with your posture and your alignment of your body. So I'm able to do like all of the other things that I love to do.
Yeah, I completely relate to that. I was talking to Stella today. Exercising gym for me is like I just need it for my mental health, my sanity. That I
Yeah.
even
100%.
bad as it is, sometimes I even need to exercise when I'm not 100%, just
I'm
for that.
exactly the same way. Yeah.
And my husband gets so upset at me. He's like, "But you're sick." But I'm like, "Oh, but I need to sweat it out." It actually makes me feel better sometimes. Obviously not if
100%.
I'm bedridden, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah. And also recently discovered the love of Pilates. So I'm
How
not just
good
doing
is
weights
it?
all the time. It is so
Yeah.
good and
Yeah.
underrated. But yeah,
100%. My
love it.
partner Frank, he was trying to tell me about because he does Pilates as well, and he's not as bad as a gym junkie as what I am, but he's into his health and fitness, and he's like, "D, you need to get into Pilates," and I'm like, "No, that's too boring. Like, I need to sweat. I need that adrenaline rush." And as I've gotten older, like, it came a time, like, I was seeing a myotherapist, and he's like, "You need to go. You need to do Pilates," and I was like, "Really?" But it's a game changer. Like it's the best thing in the world. Like I love it. It's really, really good. So I can totally relate to that, Leah.
Yeah. And circling back to love of pasta, but still exercising, I feel like pasta is a bad word when it comes to the health, in the nutrition kind of world. And we know that it's not, but I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
So just to put life into perspective in my life, when I'm in Europe and I'm in Italy, I eat pasta every single day. If I could have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would. But when I'm home, I have pasta. Like we have a Sunday night family dinner and we have pasta every Sunday night. It's like my treat. And I just think I train hard. I eat well, like 90% of the time. It's all about balance and moderation. And if I want that pasta or if I want that piece of chocolate, like I'm not going to deprive myself. Like life's too short. Like we need to have fun and enjoy it.
Definitely. And also, I was watching a little video the other day. Pasta in Europe is different to pasta here that you get on the shelf. And I'm sure coming from an Italian
Absolutely.
background, it's
Yeah.
fresh pasta. But
Yes.
we don't allow it to dry for long enough and that it disturbs the gluten or something. And
Yeah.
that's
Something to do with that.
nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And it has something to do with like the durum wheat as well. There's something
Yeah.
about that. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, look, pasta's pasta.
Yeah. So listeners, you can eat your pasta and look hot too.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you know I was watching the documentary on Netflix about the blue zones in the world and how people can live to 100, and they were
Yeah.
saying like most of their diets are heavy carbs, so it's we'll just embrace it.
Well, look at Asians. Like, I mean, I travel to China a few times a year and they eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, and that's also like a starchy carb as well. And, they're like all trim and in shape and whatnot. So there's obviously
Cultural
a method to
benefit.
that. Exactly. So there's obviously like a theory of some sort behind all of that. There has to be.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously, like we love to talk about health and fitness in terms of, we look good and we feel good, but there's so many other elements that I think we can all resonate to. So, showing up, I feel like I'm a better person if I show up to my workout and then I'm just a nicer person in a better mood.
Absolutely.
And all of that. What does your exercise routine look like?
So I train 6 days a week, sometimes 7, depending on how I'm feeling, and I'm trying to tell myself don't be stupid. But Mondays I will do like an interval running session with Kim from Move Well, who's my PT, and love her. I actually met her during COVID through my best friend Leah, who put me in touch with her. She's like, you've got to train with this girl. Like, I brought you a session. You're going to love it. And so we started on FaceTime because obviously COVID, we couldn't go anywhere. And I was totally, completely, utterly obsessed. So now I train with her like a couple of times on FaceTime during the week and then 2 times in person because like it's always nice in person. So Monday I'll do like interval training of like sprints. Tuesday morning I'll do like my Pilates, and then Tuesday night I'll do my weight session with Kim. Wednesday I'll do like my long distance run. So like this morning I did my 10-kilometer run. Thursdays are a HIIT session, so they're like really intense with Kim. Friday I do a weight session with my other PT Gab, who's all about like slow and control and, you know, building muscle, and Kim's about that as well, but they're just like, I love both of them because they've both got like different strengths. And then Saturdays I'll do like a HIIT class with Kim, and then Sunday, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll do either a light run or go for a walk, or I'll do nothing at all.
When does Frank get to steal you away for a Pilates session with him?
Never. But no, like at night, like I'm home most nights anyway. So, you know, we'll have dinner together. We'll debrief about our day, and yeah, like everyone thinks I'm crazy, but that's okay. Like that's just how it is. Because I don't feel like people that don't train don't understand the madness unless they do train. I feel like there's some when you work out and you're into that, people can relate to it because of like, you know, the adrenaline rush that you get and just the way it makes you feel. Like I feel so good.
Yeah, well, our bodies were made to move, so I think that's quite like it makes sense that you feel good.
Absolutely.
When you
But it goes
exercise.
both ways. Like I feel like it's a good addiction to have, and it just, you know how you're going to feel after it and what the benefit it brings to your life. And it goes the other
100%.
way. Like if you're sitting on the couch, which I've been this way as well, and you're just in that mood, like kind of feeling bad for yourself, like that, you'll continue to do that until something breaks the cycle. So
yeah, totally. And you know, like I'm the type of person, I get bored very easily, so I need to make sure there's like a variety.
Yeah.
You know, in my workouts, like I'll do boxing randomly, like there's this great boxing place in East Hill that I sometimes go to, like my brother goes religiously, but if I just want to mix it up, like just doing something different, it just makes me feel good.
Can we take it back, and can you talk to us a little bit about your family upbringing and the influence that that's had in your life?
Yeah, my mum and dad are like my idol, my rock. They're like everything to me. My parents instilled like the work ethic that I've got today, and they've just made me work for every dollar. Like my first car, my first pair of Gucci shoes at 21. Like my mum was like, I said, Mum, you know, I really want these Gucci heels for my 21st. And I did shift after shift at McDonald's to like pay for those shoes. And it's so rewarding when you work so hard and you're able to buy something like that for yourself. And I still have those Gucci shoes today. And like they've actually just relaunched them, which is so crazy. I was like, oh my God, this is nuts. But, you know, like my dad made me, you know, pay for my first car, and, you know, got like a personal loan out, and having that responsibility of, you know, making those payments every week, it just instilled like responsibility. And if you want something in life, you have to work for it. Like nothing is presented on a silver platter. But in saying that, like my parents also spoiled us to a degree, where we weren't brats or anything, but always made sure that we had the best in life, and always had, we never went without. And growing up as well, like my mum, was a seamstress as well, and so like we would make a lot of clothes when I was much younger, because I loved going to Spotlight and Windcrafts with her and getting patterns and fabrics and going home and making an outfit, and then I'd run to my next door neighbours and parade around going, hey, look at my outfit, or you know, things like that. So yeah, my mum and dad have had like a massive influence on my life, so I'm very, very lucky and grateful to still have them, and they're still like a massive part of my life now. Like, you know, my dad will call me and it's like, you know, how are sales going? What's happening? And I'll call him because my dad's a barber, and I'll be like, how many haircuts did you do today? And, you know, like comparing notes. And yeah, and obviously as I've gotten older, your relationship changes with your parents as well. Like obviously when you're younger, they irritate you if they don't let you go out or do this or do that and ground you and give you restrictions and whatnot. But I wouldn't be the person that I am today if it wasn't for them. Like they've really groomed me, and it's an ode to them. They've like such an amazing job of what they've done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like at the time growing up you kind of resent your parents, but you can only be so
100%.
grateful now. And I remember my old sales manager was like, where do you get this like drive and ambition from, and where does that all come from? It was my parents are immigrant parents, they were born overseas, came to Australia for the opportunities that we have now. And it's like you have that because of them. So you have them to thank. Yeah.
Exactly right. Totally. And and I try and instill those same values, and so do my brother and sister, like with my nieces and nephews, like because obviously I don't have kids and nor do I want kids. Like I love my nieces and nephews, but the fact that I can give them back is amazing. But just like I'm good and bad for them because I give them whatever they want because I'm the fun auntie and I have that title, but my brother and sister hate me for it because I cause so much havoc. And they're like, you're going to turn them into brats. And it's just like the love that I have for them and want to spoil them. It's like super exciting.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You're the fun auntie.
Yes. Only for a short period of time and then they want to kill me.
I definitely agree with what you were saying. Also coming from immigrant parents and having that real strong work ethic. I feel like today, for some reason, also being a teacher, for some reason, I think kids today feel like they can just have everything straight away on a silver platter.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's maybe social media, but there's not that drive to have to work up the ranks. And that's something I really admire about you. You didn't just go in straight away and become the owner of Mossman. You stepped up and you worked through. You've learned everything it is about the business. And I think that is why it is so successful today. And you're celebrating 10 years because you put in the hard work and you understand all the facets of it now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I've got a lot of people to thank for that because it's not like just, yes, you're like, I'm a hustler and I love to make shit happen and I'm a go-getter and a doer and, like my list of goals every year, like I'll reassess. But I've also got really good quality people in my circle. Like I don't have, yes, you have acquaintances, but the people that you depend on that guide you, like my partner Frank has been like a massive influence on my life. He's like such a mentor. He's been in the rag trade as well, and now he's in property development, but he's had such a huge influence because of his own experiences. He's been able to tell Ben and I like what to do and what not to do. So it's been like really good navigating life, just sometimes to bounce ideas off him. And I think it's really important to have a good group of quality people that you can rely on for support or just to ask like random questions. They may not even know the answer to it or can relate to it, but they can sometimes give you some like feedback or guidance that you may not look at in that kind of perspective. And just to have them there to like lean on is amazing. And I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think something that comes up a lot in the conversations that we're having is that circle of influence and circle of control, and the people around us really are so important in shaping our lives. And not everything is about money. Like this is your passion that you're speaking about as well. And so having people that care for it to the same degree and want to see you succeed, like really we should all be, wanting to surround ourselves with people like that.
Absolutely. There's just too much hate in the world.
Too.
Yeah, it's too much hate. There's too much jealousy, and it's just like life's too short. Like, be kind. Just be who you are, and go with it. Like you were saying before, like this perception of like social media. Like I didn't have social media growing up, and I look at people who had social media growing up, and you can see the differentiation between like the two of like. I'm so glad that I didn't grow up with social media because you're forced to socialize, you're forced to interact with other people. Whereas social media now, I feel like you become so like introverted that you're just focused on these, iPads and looking a certain way. And like, I don't care about all of that stuff. And a lot of people say to me, like, being in the industry and photo shoots and seeing all of these skinny models and great bodies, like, does it affect you? And I'm like, well, no, like, I'm Italian, I'm European, I've got curves, I've got a bum, like I've got hips, that's just my body shape. And you have to be grateful for it. Like you can walk, you can eat, you're healthy. Like what more can you ask for, you know?
Hmm. And I guess I just want to circle back to what you were saying about not wanting to have kids. And I feel like there is so much pressure on women to have kids, not have kids, to stay at home, to work, to
Yeah,
whether you breastfeed, not breastfeed. I feel like you're judged for every decision that you make.
100%.
How have you
Yeah.
found coming to that decision for yourself? How have you found that?
It's actually a bit like in this day and age, I feel like it's much more common. Like I was married before. Um, like after my divorce, like I was like, I knew when I was married anyway that I didn't want to have kids. So that, yeah, it was just all a bit complicated. But um, my mum, like with my mum and dad, like I think they knew even without me having to say anything that I didn't want to have kids. And they've never once asked me like, why aren't you going to have kids? Or why don't you think about like having a child? Like, and I love that about them that they respect my decision and have never had a need to even ask me that question as to like why. And I think also because they see that Mossman, I guess, is my baby, and thank God my brother and sister had kids, so I think that alleviated a lot of the pressure as well. But yeah, I feel like it's becoming more common these days, not wanting to have kids. But back then, like 15 years ago, when people used to ask me, they're like, "What do you mean you don't want to have kids? Like, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Well, it's just not for me. Like, I just don't see myself as that maternal type." But I love other people's kids. I just don't want my own. A, I'm selfish, and B, I like to just pick up and go whenever I please. And I feel like with my lifestyle, like it's so busy that when I see like other mums with kids and working, I admire them so much because I think it's such a remarkable thing to be able to balance both. Because I look at my life and I'm like, how the hell would I do what I do and then throw kids into the mix? And I often say to my girlfriends all the time that have got kids, how do you do it? Like with working, and my sister, you know, she works and got kids. And yeah, I admire all mums that work and run a household and have a family. I think it's incredible.
It is it's great to hear you be so open about that, because I'm sure there's listeners that we have and people, there's plenty of women in our circles that have made that decision, have been made to feel guilty for it. And I really don't think that's right in any way, shape or form.
Absolutely.
Because,
Yeah.
and look, you're such a positive impact with your nieces and nephews, and
Society just influences you and puts pressure. Like life is supposed to be a certain way. You're supposed to get married, have kids, and all of those things. And even coming from a European background, God forbid if you got pregnant before you got married, that was like an absolute like no, you know. But society's changed. Like the world has changed, and you know, you just got to move with the times and be confident and own it, and that's your decision. And as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. People are going to talk, and let them talk, because at the end of the day, you know the type of person that you are, and your friends know who the real you is. So who cares? Like you've just got to cut out all the riffraff.
It's really hard sometimes to I guess disregard what other people think about you, because at the end of the day, it matters what you think about yourself. And if you know your heart and your actions and your words are right, it doesn't matter how other people perceive you. And especially, I think,
100%.
a driven, direct, someone who like wants to excel and do well in every facet of their life. I feel like that intimidates people. And at the end of the day, their words about you are a reflection of them and not you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I agree.
Just to round off that conversation, I think it's really strong, like that programming that we have in us to assume for other people what they should be doing with their life. And I remember when I was younger, one of my best friends had said to me, like, I don't want kids. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe you will later. But then it's like, it's none of my business to put that on her, because that's, if I want kids, that's for me. And if you don't, then let me, share that with me. That's beautiful that you feel that way. And, and that's a nice thing. But something that I found funny was that you both said that you're selfish. I don't think you're selfish, because it's just that you prefer a different lifestyle, and
That's true. That's true.
you're a very
Yeah.
thoughtful person in a lot of ways. And that's when I look at her, I'm like, you're such a beautiful, kind, warm person. It's not that you're selfish, it's
you.
just that your lifestyle,
Yeah.
doesn't align. And that's cool.
We'll be back after a short break. If you haven't already heard of Strider, they are the revolutionary insoles featured in this season's Shark Tank. Strider is the home of Happy Feet. Their mission is to empower you to move at your best, pain-free. To help you take charge of your life and health from the feet up, Strider are offering Nava listeners an exclusive 10% off with code NAVA. That's Nava at checkout. Now let's get back to the conversation.
And speaking of you have nieces and nephews, is that right?
I do, yeah.
So cute. I saw on your Instagram your little nieces are wearing Mossman mini outfits, and I was like, absolutely adorable. Is this something that's happening for 2024, or was this just a special auntie arrangement?
No, well, it's always been on my bucket list of things to do. And so we thought we would just test the waters. We had my cousin's wedding recently. And I was like, guys, like, you need to look spectacular. I mean, they always look spectacular, but had to be extra special. So they both picked their own dresses from like dresses that were already available online. And then we just did it in like a mini version. And everyone was just messaging me like, oh my God, like, is this really happening? Is this coming to fruition? So watch this space. But yeah, possibly it may happen for 2024, but it is on the list of things to do.
How did you and Frank meet?
So I met him through Mossman. So he used to be one of the existing owners of Mossman with two other guys. So he was a silent partner, and I was actually working at Mossman. So I met him through here before I'd taken over it.
Yeah, beautiful.
So a romantic work romance.
Yes, I wasn't really interested, to be honest. But I thought I'd just give him a go and just like, let's just try it and see what happens. And he's actually like, because I heard like, when you hear like stories and you're just like, oh, I'm not even going to go there. I can't be bothered with the drama. And then after being divorced, like, I don't want any more drama in my life. But no, he ended up being like the most positive, calming influence in my life. Like, we have the most drama-free relationship. We've been together for 11 years. We live together. It's just the most... like, it's just so good. Like, we hardly ever argue. Like, when we do, like, it's on for young and old, but it's very, very rare. And we just both understand each other. And I just feel like I've never been in a place where, like, not that nothing's ever perfect, but it's like it feels so right and so good. Like, I'm excited to go home at night and see him. And, like, when you're in relationships for like a long time, sometimes you lose that luster and that passion for each other. And I just feel like as we go on, like, it just gets stronger and stronger, which I think is very rare. So no, I'm very lucky to have him in my life, and he's equally as lucky to have me in his life.
Definitely. But that's so true. I've been married now 13 years. I got married at 20, very young, but It's definitely obviously not perfect, but you have to work at it, just like you work at your business or any other, your fitness, any other aspect. I feel like because of the way society is at the moment, where you just throw things away, you cancel them as soon as they lose their value. But I think we need to make more of an effort as a society and people to invest in the things that are important to us.
Yeah, definitely. And even just to go out for dinner together and just have like a, quality conversation. Sometimes like work and the day-to-day mundane life gets in the way of that, and you kind of just like disconnect. So it's nice to just kind of like make time for yourself and for each other.
Yeah. I was going to say, asking for a friend, like, what do you think over the years has been like an integral part of, longevity in the relationship? Just in like, just asking for me.
No, I definitely think like having fun and humor and laughing and just not taking life so seriously, like, and just loving each other and being loyal and trustworthy and honest. And, you know, you want to be able to be transparent with that person and go to that person for like everything and not have to think, oh shit, how am I going to speak to him about that, or vice versa. Like, that's your rock. It's like your go-to person. So if you can't rely on your partner, like, what's the point of, like, obviously you're just not meant to be together. But there's someone for everyone. Like, I truly believe in love, and I feel like there's definitely someone for everyone, 100%. And some it takes a little bit longer, and that's okay.
I've been with my boyfriend for about a year now, but I'm going to take home the dinner dates for sure, and fun. I feel like it's a Melbourne thing that we're all just so serious, like in the day-to-day.
Absolutely. Just like go. Yeah, you don't stop to smell the roses, you know?
And you ask people how they are, and we don't really sit around to listen to the answer. We're just like, okay, cool, on to the next. Thanks. Going down and just having fun. We need to do that more.
Yeah.
Totally.
So tell us a little bit about 2024 and what we can look out for with Mossman.
So we are expanding into the US as of February next year. So we've just signed on with an agent, which is super, super exciting because we've been hustling for that since pre-COVID, and then COVID happened. So everything got put on the back burner. So this is like now signed on the dotted line. So it's happening. So we're so excited because the US market, thank you, has been a massive priority for us. So we're so excited to delve into that. And then also the Middle East as well, which we've started selling. Well, we've been selling there for a few years, but there's so much potential. So we're going to expand over there as well, which is super exciting. So, and I'm also excited. We've got our new essentials collection launching in Feb next year, which we've kind of dabbled into, but there's been a lot of potential with that as well. So we've created like a massive collection of like all of your go-to. So it's like your basics, but with a fashion twist. It's a bit of an expansion of like when I launched my wardrobe last year. Is it last year? Yeah, last year. Time's going by so quick that I've lost all concept of time. So we're super excited for that. And then, we've got a few events happening in New York next year. So lots of exciting things happening. I'm so pumped for 2024.
Wow, it's like 10 years and expansion.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. It's a long time coming.
I'm excited for the essentials. The one thing we've spoken about, Stella and I, is having that capsule wardrobe of some go-to pieces that you can rotate with different items that you have in your wardrobe to be a little bit more, I guess, sustainable in our choices. Though we love the one-off pieces. Like, I'll never wear the same dress to a wedding twice.
Of course. That goes without saying.
You do, and you're listening to this, don't feel bad.
Yeah, I was exaggerating, but
yes. And I'll have to sort you girls out with some essentials because you're going to be so obsessed. So I have to send you some stuff as well.
That would be lovely. But yes, we love. And the other thing I love about Moss Mix, I know we're running out of time. I love that your style is like a masculine, feminine chic. I feel like that is essentially who I am as a person.
You hit the nail on the head. Yes, no, absolutely. That's exactly what we are.
I think is quite new, actually. I don't think that was, maybe you could say Coco Chanel started that with the pantsuit back in the day, but it is something I think that's distinctive of your brand, and I think what makes it successful and stand out in the marketplace.
No, it's definitely something that we've always been well aware of. Like, you have to be unique. Like, the fashion industry is so competitive these days, and you need to stand out. Like, you need to have that, you know, for us, it's our price point and our quality and, you know, the styles that we're doing. As long as you have that unique component to you, that's what's going to make you stand out from everybody else. When you start doing what everyone else is doing, like, you're going to get lost in the crowd. So for us, it's like super important, like quality, price, and like fashionability are like the three key items for us.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something we've spoken about with some of our other guests, finding a target audience, but then also, I guess, staying true to who you want to be as a brand, because at the end of the day, when you're the owner, that brand is part of who you are. And I feel like, as you were saying, if you kind of go too much with everything else around you, you lose focus of who you are. And once you hone your skill, your distinct style, I think that's what sets you apart. And at the end of the day, if you're not doing something that's true to you, what's the point?
What's the point? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Can you talk to us a little bit about your partnership with Ben and how that's been really successful for the both of you? Because speaking to a lot of business owners, something that we've come across quite often is people feeling quite strongly about partnerships that haven't worked out. And yeah, I'd love to know if you could share with us what has contributed to that working so well for you both.
Yeah, definitely. I guess like I've also heard the same thing as well. And with Ben and I, we're a bit of a unique partnership, I would say, because Ben is Frank's son, so it kind of works really well. And people are like, what? Sorry. And I guess that's why Ben and I just, because it's almost like a little family situation that we've got going on, and people just don't like, they're like, wait, sorry, is that your stepson? Like, what the hell? I'm like, no, like that's just Ben, it's just Frank's son, like it's fine. But it works, and that's why I think we have such a great partnership. And not only that, we're like opposites in terms of like being creative. Like I said, mentioned earlier, creative and financially, like that balance is very important. If you've got a partner who's creative and the other partner's creative, that's a recipe for disaster. And same with being both financials, because like where's the creative element to that?
Mhm.
So that's why I think it's really important that you've got to find that right balance. And not only that, Ben and I just share the same morals and values. We're both very driven and motivated people. Like we're so ambitious, like the sky is the limit for us, and we're always on the same page. Yes, we'll agree to disagree every now and then, and I'll give him the shits and I'll drain his life and vice versa. But it's all part of the relationship. Like we have such an amazing relationship, and I love him to death and I drive him crazy. But it works and it's great and I love it. And I'm so lucky to have him a part of my life as well.
What would your top tip be for working in partnership with someone?
Compromise.
Yeah.
Compromise. Yeah. Because you're not always right, and don't be stubborn, because you can't always be the know-it-all. Like, and you need to look at things openly and realistically. And at the end of the day, it's all about making money. So you're not going to design a dress that you know that just for the purposes of designing a dress because you think that you love it. It's like, is it going to sell? Is it going to work?
Yeah.
Is my customer going to love it? And that's where Ben and I work really well together, because I'll have like this creative idea, and then he'll just kind of like add the icing to it and go refine and go, okay, I love where you're going with that, but what if we add this to it? And, it's like baking a cake and adding all different ingredients into it. And then you get, the final product and it's delicious. Like it's the same kind of concept with a partnership. You need to just have a really good balance with each other.
I feel like next time Ben wants something, he's going to be like, remember the time on that podcast?
Yeah, I know. He's going to record. He's going to record that part, and he's going to press play all the time. He's like, remember this? I know. But yeah.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
No, that's okay.
So I'm conscious of time, so we'll end with our last segment. So Nava represents the core values we explore in our podcast, and each letter of Nava stands for an essential aspect of personal or professional growth. So N stands for navigate. Can you share a technique or strategy you use to stay organized and keep track of your progress or objectives that you have going on?
Yeah, so I will have a meeting every week, or I'll write notes. Like if I've got goals, I'll relook at my goals like every year in the new year and tick off like what I've achieved and what I haven't achieved and why. And then do like another list for the following year. I go, okay, what are we going to do this year? And why didn't we make that happen? And what changes do we need to make in order to achieve that this year? So that way you're constantly growing, evolving, and you're challenging yourself and then adding anything new to that list as well.
That's so great. The reflective process, because you didn't say, oh, I didn't achieve that. Cross that off. You said, okay, how am I going to readjust and achieve that for next year? That's great.
Yeah.
So the next one is A for Aspire. Are there particular role models in your life or sources of inspiration that have helped you to get to where you are today?
There have been so many inspiring people in my life, to just name like one, but definitely like my parents, and obviously like my partner Frank as well. Like, seeing what they do, they continue to inspire me day in, day out. And my friends who have families and kids again, and being able to like work and have a family and not even complain, they just get on with it. They inspire me every day to be like a better person, and to do better at my work, because I really have nothing to complain about.
We can get annoyed at the little things in our life.
We can.
But I think definitely not focusing on that is what's going to help us to get through and succeed, for sure.
Yeah.
So V's for value. Can you share a practice or routine that you find valuable for maintaining your well-being? Obviously working out.
Definitely working out, and making time for yourself, like going on a holiday, whether it's just, like I love to go to Noosa a couple of times a year as well. Like, it's just nice to, even if it's for like a few days, just to reset, recharge, and just come back with a clear mind, because it's so much easier to make like decisions, and move forward, and you're a better person for it. To have that, everyone needs to reset at some point. And sometimes you need more than once during the year. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important. Even if it's just a weekend away with your girlfriends and you go get a massage, it's really important to have that downtime to just like breathe and just think about like where you are in life, and just take a moment to reflect.
Yeah, for sure. And what would you say what's your favorite restaurant in Noosa? And I'd love to know also where your favorite European destination is too.
Yeah. So my favorite restaurant in Noosa is Sales. I love the crab lasagna. Like, that's my absolute fave.
Yeah.
And then obviously my favorite holiday destination is Italy. In particular, there's two places that I really love. One is Santa Margherita, which is like a hidden gem, which is like next door to Portofino. It's just so beautiful. And the other one would be, there's an amazing resort in Puglia called Borgo Ignazia, and that's just like heaven, where you just relax and just time out. You get a massage, has like an amazing gym. It's just chill central, which I need, which is great.
That sounds so good. We'll definitely add those to our lists.
Yeah, Italy is on the destination for next year.
Yes.
And then the last one is achieve.
Yeah, based on your own experiences, what practical steps or strategies do you have for our audience? Obviously, with our little acronym, we try to have it so it's easily replicable process for people, just to be like, okay, Deanna's done this and found success. So what would some tips be for people that you would suggest?
Stay true to yourself. You're running your own race. Don't worry about what your competitors or what other people are doing. Just have your blinkers on and just run your own race. It's so easy to get caught up in all the riffraff of what's going on in the outside world, but you have to remember, if you stay true to yourself, that's where your success will come. Don't compare yourself to other people. And I know that it's so easy to do. But whether you're running the race slow or fast, you're still going to get to the finish line. It may take you a little longer, but to be successful, everything is like Rome, slow and steady. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. And you'll see like a lot of brands that go from 0 to 100, like some of them you can go, well, where are they now? Whereas I think if you're slow and steady, and you continue to progress, your lifespan is forever.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice. And even I don't have my own business, but I'm trying to climb the corporate ladder, and I'm looking for a job at the moment, but it's been slow. So I feel like I really needed to hear that as well. So thank you. Slow and steady.
No, slow and steady. You'll get there. Like, everyone does. It's just some of us, it takes a little bit longer, and that's okay. Like, you're still going to get to your end result. It's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we end, I'd love to hear, in your own words, what is your personal style? I guess outside of Mossman, what are your go-to fits?
Obviously, a black blazer and heels.
Definitely, yes. No, I love a black blazer and heels. I also love a mini skirt and I love a good pair of jeans. But my style is like just very like relaxed. It has a very masculine vibe to it. And I'd say it's more edgy as opposed to, I'm not feminine, even though I add like a lot of femininity into some of the collections, but my own personal style, like I'm pretty basic but edgy.
So would you say that those are the 4 things that everyone needs in their wardrobe? A blazer, a mini skirt. What were the other things?
A pair of jeans and a pair of killer heels.
Yeah, we love that. And I feel like at the moment, like you've had your hair like this for a while, but it's almost an accessory to your outfit. It's iconic to you now. Like that's your hairstyle.
Yeah, no, it's funny. My hairdresser Dimitri says all the time, like every week I'll go in for my weekly blue wave and he's like, do you know how many people have come in this week and said, can you cut my hair like down? He's like, I can't because like it's not going to suit you. Like, what do you mean? He's like, I feel like you just own it and it's your vibe and you can pull it off. He's like, not very many people can pull it off. And I was like, I'll take that. That's a compliment. Thank you.
Totally. And
definitely.
Last question, how do you keep it so sleek?
Everyone asks me that, but so Dimitri blow waves it for me twice a week. So I don't know like what products he uses, but I did get keratin done before I went to Europe this year. And that was a game changer for me just because like, you know, when you're in the water every day, the humidity, like I had no flyaways. It was because I've got really curly hair. So it was a breeze. Like, so anyone who hasn't had keratin, I highly recommend because I am going to get it done again next week for the summer period. And I think that definitely helps. And then a combination of whatever Dimitri uses.
Beautiful. We're all going to run and get keratin done.
Well, side note, my husband gets keratin.
No way.
Amazing. He has, I guess, shoulder length hair. He just cut it a little bit, but his hair's like thick and buffy, and he travels a lot to Japan, and the humidity there is terrible. But the keratin, game changer.
Yeah.
I always wondered why David's hair was so nice. Like now we know your secrets, David.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being so open and genuine. We really appreciate it. It went so quick.
I know, that was so fast. And so
much fun. Far out. That was amazing. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like, we'll love chatting to you guys today. It's awesome.
That's a wrap for this episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And remember, you can always find more episodes and updates on our website and social media page. You can find us on Instagram at nava.podcast. Until next time, keep chasing your dreams and making your mark on the world.